Good morning, everyone. I'm here at the Belmont Hotel just outside Terminal 3 of Manila Airport. Today I'm flying to Los Angeles, LAX on China Airlines, and it's going to be a really good chance to compare their A330 and 777 product. As like off a quick Google search, it does look like there's a bit of a difference. So hopefully in this video I can run you through the differences between the A330 and the 777 in economy class. And at the same time sort of run you through just what China Airlines is like with its soft product as well, what its food's like, what its cabin crew are like. Never flown them before, so yeah, really excited to spend the next 15 hours on an airplane and get over to the US of A. So let's crack it. Now, the first thing I'm really intrigued to see how it goes is for my baggage allowance, I have 2 by 23 kilo bags, but I actually only have one that's 26. Sometimes airlines can be a bit stingy with how they sort of do that. They might charge me 3 or 4 kilos oversize. Sometimes they go, no worries, because technically I've got 46 kilos of baggage, and they'll just wave it through. So fingers crossed for me, they just wave it through and I'm all good to go. So welcome to Manila Terminal 1. Unfortunately, I did get charged 100 Australian dollars, which is about 60 US bucks for being 3 kilos over. But in the grand scheme of things, that's not too bad. Getting through immigration did take a while though, so I quickly rewarded myself with a Starbucks shitty hot coffee. Manila Airport is pretty dirty. I guess the architecture from the 60s or prehistoric times, whenever this terminal was built, just makes it hard to keep clean. So the boarding area was pretty packed with 4 or 5 flights going off all at once, and as you'll hear in a sec, they just love talking. There was boarding announcement after boarding announcement. Here's our bird for the day, a 17.5-year-old Airbus A330-300 in the SkyTeam livery, which I personally think is pretty beautiful.
Putting in their boarding passes and board passports ready for presentation at the gate, and for inspection of our cabin crew upon boarding the aircraft. For the rest of the passengers, cabin crew is seated within the holding area of gate number 5 and wait for your group letters to be called.
Hello. Great. Thank you.
Good morning. Credit where credit is due, the whole boarding experience was extremely well organized. And then boarding the plane, I was greeted by very smiley, very happy air hosties and air hostess from China Airlines. However, instantly sitting down in the seat, you can tell that they probably still have the original seats from when they bought this plane in 2006. The legroom was good for a short 2.5 hour, 3 hour hop. I couldn't touch the bar in front of me, but we did have personal entertainment boxes beneath the feet, which did limit it a bit. The actual entertainment system itself was old. You can see here that my hand covers a whole screen, and we had an old remote control. It was touchscreen, but it was very unresponsive. So despite this being a TV from probably 1930, it was stashed with entertainment. The flight mat was a little slow, but surprisingly it was interactive. I guess it's expected that an ITV system as old as this one is going to be a little bit slow and a little bit clunky. I didn't find China Airlines layout to be the most user-friendly. As you can see here, I'm trying to scroll through, and on this size screen they could only show 4 movies at a time, and then you'd actually accidentally click into one. So I was getting a little frustrated, but at the end of the day it was all manageable. If you didn't want to use the touchscreen, you could always just use the remote in your armrest. One thing I did find pretty cool was this little notification up the top. If you obviously didn't have enough time to finish the movie in the flight, they would let you know. So I think that's pretty cool. All in all, I was pretty pleased with the legroom that I got. I did have a spare seat next to me, which always makes these sort of flights a little bit more comfortable, and a very standard A330 cabin, nothing really special. At this time, it was time for lunch. There wasn't a choice, it was just, do you want lunch, yes or no? Which again, on a short flight like this, I'm not going to complain too much. It was some sort of noodles with chicken and some greens. I actually really enjoyed it. It was very tasty and the size was plentiful. Another cool feature China Airlines did was for passengers that were asleep, they just left a notice saying, we've been passed, if you want to order your food later, just let us know. And they actually brought this guy back his lunch about an hour later when he woke up.
And then, dear passengers, this is First Officer. We have Captain speaking. We will start to descend in a few minutes. Please return your seat and make sure that your seatbelt is fastened. It is currently clear sky in Taipei with a ground temperature of 23 degrees Celsius and 73 degrees Fahrenheit. This estimated arrival time will be 13:05. Local time in the afternoon. Thank you for flying with China Airlines.
So at this point, one of the air hosties came up and asked me how I enjoyed my flight and if there was anything else I needed before landing. And this really left a good impression of China Airlines at this point in my trip. Bit of a walk around to get to transfers, but all in all, I think I've been off the plane for about 5 minutes. Caught the Sky train across through security and up the escalator to the transfers. So essentially what I'd done without realizing it was I'd caught the train from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 where my next flight was going, and my god, was Terminal 2 stunning with some of the artwork that they had on the walls. It was super quiet, people were super friendly, and a quick trip to Macca's to refuel before my next long flight to LA was, of course, compulsory.
65D, 65D. If you hear, contact Guangzhou. Thank you. Thank you.
It was close. By golly gosh, wowee. This is the best economy class cabin interior I have ever seen. Period. So here's my seat. Firstly, we have a massive in-flight entertainment system right in front of us. Big pocket for all your stuff, and the leg room was nuts. Like, I'm talking Qatar Airways 777 sort of leg room. I couldn't touch that bar in front of me. I could stretch out. I was just super comfortable in the seat. To be honest, I just can't get over how beautiful this cabin looks with the orange lighting and the bamboo decorations around the galley and the toilets. It just looks sensational. This flight was just before Christmas, so everything on the ITV was sort of Christmas themed, I guess. Soon we were pushing back, it was time for the safety video, and we were out of Taipei on our way to LAX. So my plan is to get as much sleep as possible on this flight. So let's run through the entertainment system again really quickly. Very similar to the in-flight entertainment system on the A330. Very similar setup, but obviously being a brand new TV screen, it works seamlessly, everything loaded quicker, and there might have been a few more movies, but to be honest, I couldn't really tell. The selection of movies was awesome, so you're not going to get bored on a 12-hour flight from Taipei to LAX at any point. Dinner was served about 45 minutes to an hour after takeoff with a hot bread roll and an interesting looking Chinese dessert. I of course went for the chicken and rice as I always do, and it was super. Given it was sleep time, I decided to go to the back of the plane to do a loo review. And I must say, these are the biggest toilets I've ever seen on any plane as well. I don't know if that's a 777 thing, but China Airlines definitely had enough room for 2 people in their bathrooms, so if you ever want to join the Mile High Club, this is the place to do it. Always a nice touch to see some sprays and a fancy soap in the toilet as well. And with that, I tucked up my pillow, put on my blanket, and I was off to sleep for the next 10 hours. About an hour off the coast of the US, I was very politely awoken by breakfast being served. Again, with a hot roll and a hot coffee. Breakfast was a little bit more bland with a pork sausage and some sort of omelette. It was very good though. It doesn't look like much, but after a long flight, a coffee and a good breakfast like this is what you need to get fired up to deal with LAX customs. I thought it was a good idea to quickly check the onboard Wi-Fi before we landed. At this point of the flight, I wasn't going to purchase a package, but I did just want to show you guys what it actually cost if you did want to connect to the internet during the flight. It all loaded up pretty quick, so it seemed like it should work okay. The prices were a little bit on the steeper side. I think a $3.25 messaging plan is okay, but a 15 megabyte limit is super low. But once you actually jump up into the real stuff, like a 1 hour pass for $12, 3 hour pass for $17, and the 24-hour pass, which I think is probably the best value for $21, it's a little bit expensive, but it really depends how much you need to use it on the flight, I guess. So I really enjoyed my time on China Airlines, and I absolutely would fly them again. There were a couple of things to me that I thought were missing. The first of all is an amenity kit. Really, I'd love to have an amenity kit on especially a 12-hour flight like this. Just something that's got lip balm in it, a toothpaste, and maybe some eye shades to help you sleep. Hot towels weren't a feature, but something I didn't record because I only found them on the return leg was they did give you the wet wipe towels with your cutlery for meal service. So that's something they do include. But if they really want to go to that next level, I think a hot towel after boarding would be the way to do it. And on the A330 in the first flight, there was no way to charge your phone. There was no USB port and there was no universal port below your seat. So if your phone was running low, it's going to go dead, which means when you get to your destination and you need to order that Uber, you're not going to be able to do it unless you go to a Starbucks and charge up there. So I think you can tell by this video that China Airlines 777 product is far superior to the A330 product. Saying that though, the A330 product wasn't terrible. The cabin crew definitely make up for the shortcomings of the older aircraft, and it was still a highly comfortable seat. It was just a couple of things like not having an amenity kit and especially not having a USB power port on the A330 that I think China Airlines loses some points. They're so close to being at the tippy top of economy class travel. That's how much I enjoyed it, and I'd highly encourage everyone else, at some point if you can, to try flying China Airlines 777 product. It's one of my favorite economy flights that I've ever done. I had an excellent trip on the way back as well from Mexico to Australia, so thoroughly impressed. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please leave them below in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer them. If not, hope to see you next time, and Happy New Year for 2024.